Thank you, everyone. Council could just take their seats. If anyone in attendance wishes to address council on any of the agenda items, please register with our legislative services desk located on my right, as I'll be calling only those who have registered to speak. Good. You must register prior to the start of the agenda items in which we were speaking, and registered delegates were permitted 5 minutes to speak and remain on topic. And I humbly acknowledge this land we live, learn, work, and play is Treaty 8 territory, the traditional lands of the Cree and Dene, and unceded territory of the Métis. And we have Councillor Keith McGrath on Teams this evening. And if Councillor McGrath, keep your video camera on so we can see your hand raised for voting purposes. Before we adopt the agenda, do we have anyone wishes to serve a notice of motion? Can I have someone make a motion to adopt the agenda as presented? Councillor Ball?
I move that the agenda be adopted as presented.
Can I have someone second that motion? Councillor Weigel?
Second the motion.
Thank you. Are there any other amendments to the agenda? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor? That's carried unanimously. Thank you. Moving on to the minutes of the previous meeting, can I have someone make the motion? Councillor Weigel?
I move that the minutes of the council meeting held on December 13th, 2022 be approved as presented.
Can someone second that motion? Councillor Stroud?
Thank you, Mayor Bowman. I second the motion.
And I'll call for a vote. All in favor? And Councillor McGrath? There we go. Thank you, sir. That's carried unanimously. Moving on to new business, I'd like to invite Brad Murdo, Director of Planning Development, to present the Fort McMurray Boys and Girls Club request to purchase land.
Good evening, Mayor and members of Council. My name is Brad McMurdo, Director of Planning and Development. Joining me this evening is Chris Davis, Senior Manager with Legal Services. Thank you. We are before you tonight to present a proposed land sale to the Boys and Girls Club, which will allow them access to needed funding to renovate and develop the facility to meet their needs as well as those of their tenants. In 1990, the City of Fort McMurray entered into an agreement to purchase a site from the province. From this proposal, the city ended up owning approximately 1.08 hectares, which equates to 2.69 acres, with the province retaining a revisionary interest in the parcel. In 1991, a nominal land lease for a portion of the property known as 20 and 24 Rydell Street, also known as Subject Lot 5, which equates to 0.708 hectares, was signed between the City of Fort McMurray and the Fort McMurray Boys and Girls Club for a 30-year term with 2 optional 10-year renewal terms. The lease expired in July of 2021, but was renewed effective the same year for 2 10-year terms. While the municipality owns the land, the building and improvements on the land are owned by the Fort McMurray Boys and Girls Club. It's important to note that while the municipality has been the owner on title since 1990, title was conveyed by the province for a nominal fee of $1. Further, the province included a revisionary clause, as I previously mentioned, in the agreement. In the event the municipality or Keano College determines that the lands are surplus to their needs, then the province could reacquire the subject property. In October 2022, the Fort McMurray Boys and Girls Club inquired about mortgaging their leasehold interest in the subject Lot 5, on which their facility is built. They approached the municipality as they were undertaking renovations to their building to better serve their needs and the needs of their social profit tenants in their building. In approaching this request, made on an urgent basis as improvements were underway, the municipality considered the following. Mortgaging municipal property is not a common practice. Potential risk and exposure for the municipality exists. The Boys and Girls Club as a nonprofit social profit agency. Other potential issues such as the provincial revisionary interest. It was determined based on all factors that the best option was to bring the matter before council with a recommendation for a nominal land sale. This would be protected by various conditions. As a result, on December 12th, 2022, the Fort McMurray Boys and Girls Club made a formal request to the municipality for a nominal land purchase of the subject lot 5. The requested nominal purchase, if approved, would allow the Fort McMurray Boys and Girls Club to finance their proposed building improvements through a mortgage of their existing leasehold interest. These funds would allow the Boys and Girls Club to continue with their current upgrades to their facility and ultimately allow them to continue offering essential programs to the community. While it was felt that a transfer of fee simple title to the Fort McMurray Boys and Girls Club would resolve any mortgage financing complexities, the timing of the mortgage financing and the need of the Boys and Girls Club to further investigate the provincial revisionary interest meant that the transfer of title may not occur immediately, and the municipality may need to remain involved in authorizing the financing of the current leasehold interest. The arrangement between the Fort McMurray Boys and Girls Club and the municipality has always been about facilitating and supporting youth programming in the region. In this instance, administration is attempting to support a solution that allows the Boys and Girls Club to continue to support their much-needed services in our community through the maintenance of their existing facilities. To move this matter forward, administration recommends, in addition to the report recommendations and the attachment 1 terms and conditions, the following additional conditions arising from the approval of the proposed purchase sale. Specifically, 1, the parties enter into a tri-party agreement involving the proposed lender, which would be the municipality, the Boys and Girls Club, as well as ATB, supporting the terms and conditions outlined in the report and additional conditions. The parties, being the municipality as well as the Boys and Girls Club, amend the current lease to allow further changes to clarify terms and better protect the interests of both parties, which would include the municipality consent to the mortgage of the leasehold interest, clarification of ambiguous provisions such as the 20-year further term, confirming additional not-for-profit and social profit uses, necessary terms to enable the Boys and Girls Club to otherwise obtain their proposed financing. 3, the municipality having the right in the amended lease that prior to any lending taking action on its security to pay out the mortgage, remove the lender, and take back the leasehold interest. 4, the Government of Alberta relinquish or modify their revisionary interest that was registered on the title in 1990 as instrument number 902298400 on the subject lot 5 to the mutual satisfaction of the parties. 5, the right of first refusal mentioned in attachment 1 supporting the municipality's continuing interest in the subject lot 5 be included in the purchase and sale agreement. 6, the closing of the sale of the subject lot 5 not occur until both parties are satisfied with the resolution of all conditions or both waive such conditions, but in any event not later than January 11th, 2024, failing which the Boys and Girls Club right to purchase subject lot 5 will expire. I'd like to thank you. That concludes our presentation.
Thank you, Brad. Do we have any other delegates to this item?
Thank you, Mayor Bowman. We do have registered delegates representing the Fort McMurray Boys and Girls Club. We have Jennifer Canet, Maddie Parley, and Terry Cooper.
So for the delegates, when you turn your mic on, just say your name for the record, and just remind you have 5 minutes.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. My name is Terry Cooper. Good evening, Council. To my right is Jennifer Canet. She is the Executive Director of the Boys and Girls Club, and to her right is Matt Parley, and he's the chair of the board of the Boys and Girls Club. Because I have 5 minutes and lawyers are sometimes long-winded, I want to just make it very clear that the Boys and Girls Club fully supports the presentation and recommendations of the administration. So if I run out of time and my microphone goes dead, I don't want you to have any doubt as to what our position is. Over 30 years ago, there was a vision, and that vision was to build a youth center in Fort McMurray to provide essential services to Fort McMurray. And the youth center was going to be constructed by the Boys and Girls Club. The province embraced that vision. The municipality embraced the vision. To make it possible, the province transferred the land to the municipality for $1. In 1991, land was worth more than $1. So you can understand the commitment that the province made. The municipality then entered into a long-term lease, a 30-year lease with options to extend to lease the land for $1. What was the Boys and Girls Club job? They were to go out and raise the money and build a youth center, and they did that. The vision was well planned. The implementation at that time was well planned, but the way it was put in place did not contemplate that 30 years later, and with the 20-year extension, 50 years later, we have to repair the building. How do we do that? How do we finance that? How do we provide for planning and sustainability for this organization? And that is what the proposal today is all about, to provide sustainability so that this organization that has made such a worthwhile contribution to this community can plan for the future, can complete the work that they've undertaken, and can go forward with an idea that as they maybe need more work to repair and perhaps replace the roof on their building, etc., they have the ability to do so. Right now, the lease under the terms is one that you can't get financing on. I'm not saying that you cannot finance a leasehold interest. Box stores do that all the time. They enter into a land lease, they finance the leasehold interest, but there aren't the types of restrictions in the lease that are in this lease. One of the restrictions is that if someone defaults under the mortgage, well, the lease is terminated. What kind of security does a bank have? None. Somehow, the Boys and Girls Club was able to persuade a bank in town to consider entering into a leasehold mortgage with them. But the lease needs to be fixed. But that's just a Band-Aid. That's just a Band-Aid, folks, because although one banker today might help them out, next year or a year later or 2 years later when the roof needs to be repaired and the bank is looking at a lease of a property that must be rented to a non-for-profit organization, it creates all kinds of problems. And so for long-term stability and planning, transferring the property into the Boys and Girls Club will allow them to have that sustainability. At the same time, the recommendations put in place by the municipality fully protect the municipality, because to get the property back, you pay the Boys and Girls Club for their building. They pay you nothing for the land today. You take the property back with your right of first refusal, you pay nothing for the land. In the meantime, we provide stability and sustainability for this organization. I believe I've got 40 seconds left, and I'm not going to talk any longer, folks. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cooper. Anyone else like to take his 40 seconds?
I can keep it to 40 seconds if I try.
Okay. Do we have any questions from council? Councillor Stroud?
Thank you, Mayor Bowman. And my questions is to Jennifer. Jennifer, can you explain the importance of the Boys and Girls Club and how it impacts the region?
Yeah, definitely. So as Terry mentioned, the Boys and Girls Club has been operating in Fort McMurray for 41 years. It used to run outside or out of the Peter Pond School before it was taken down and moved to its home where it currently is at 20 Rydell Street. While I've only been in the role for a year and a half, I actually was a club kid, so I've been a part of the club for a long time. And it is my belief that we have immeasurable impact on the community. We welcome children and youth through our doors, through our childcare programs, our out-of-school care programs, our youth recreation programs. We offer cooking classes, life skills, leadership. We've seen many of Fort McMurray's children and youth through our doors and led them on to very bright futures. In the past few years, we did, our building did sustain damage during the flood. The interior is quite remarkable compared to what it was previously. The exterior is getting some work. It looks pretty good for 40 years, but yeah, we are looking to expand our programs to welcome more youth into our building. That's part of our expansion, is to improve upon our youth recreation center. We have expanded out to rural in Anzac, and yeah, I'm pretty proud of our little club.
Thank you. So what is the relationship between the Fort McMurray Boys and Girls Club and the Boys and Girls Club of Canada? I was Googling this information this weekend, trying to get an understanding.
Wonderful. That's a good question. I know it's always a little scary when we have a not-for-profit that is connected to a national entity. So being a part of Boys and Girls Club of Canada, we pay a membership fee to be a part of that, basically to hold the Boys and Girls Club name. So our membership fee is based on our operating budget. It costs us about $5,000 a year to be a part of Boys and Girls Clubs of Canada. What we get back from that is access to a multitude of grants, many marketing materials, and just multiple campaigns that are nationwide, leadership development, lots of opportunities such as that. So while I can see it can be a little scary of thinking that the money is going outside of the region, it is a small fee just to carry that brand with us.
Yeah, to have the opportunity to get that grant funding is so important. And I agree that Boys and Girls Club needs a nice new modernized look. It's certainly been in our community a long time, and it would be nice to see it refreshed. Thank you.
There are some jokes that its personality is what counts.
Okay.
Thank you, Councillor Stroud. Councillor Benjoko?
Thank you, Mayor Bowman, and thank you, Jennifer, and all the presenters for coming forward. I'm a great fan of Boys and Girls Club of Fort McMurray, so thank you for what you do for the community, for the youths, but also impacting the families and parents. I believe it's a great contribution, allowing them either some free time or time to work. So thank you. Yeah, so I reviewed your package, having that in my mind that my heart is with you. So I wanted to know, you talked about some potential tenants. So I wanted you to be a little bit more specific about that, just to give a bit better understanding, given that you are asking for almost for free, but you're going to be potentially having some tenants. So I was wondering if you are going to some business there or something. Thank you.
That's a great question, actually. So we do currently, with the approval of the municipality, we do currently sublease a portion of our building to Fuse Social as well as the Air Cadets. It is there's quite fair rental costs, and we do use it as part of our revenue to help support our not-for-profit organization. So we do continue to have that agreement with Fuse Social. We have a 5-year lease that sublease that took place, I think it started last year in 2021. And the Air Cadets, we have had honestly longer than I can find history for that agreement. So they run their recreation, or out of our gyms, they have their Air Cadets 3 times a week. We do also welcome in different recreation groups for quite small costs and small nonprofits as well. Just because we have a lot of space, our building is quite vast. It's probably one of the biggest things that people comment on when they come in if we give them a tour. We have 2 large gymnasiums, and when we're outside of our childcare hours or outside of our program hours, because of course our programming always will come first, we do make sure that other nonprofits and other recreation facility or recreation programs can utilize that space.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification. I just wanted, so you said the space will be rented to like-minded organizations or similar organizations, correct?
Yeah, I would love, down the road to see other youth-serving organizations come in and share the space with us just to make it more accessible, but that's a little bit of a dream for now, but hopefully one day we'll get there.
Yeah, that would be good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Majoko. Councilor McGrath?
Thank you. I just want to say, Mr. Cooper, Happy New Year. And to the lady there, I know that you talked about the history down there with that building. Well, my own kids went to cadets there, and Erica Angel, I think now her sister might have taken it over. But to you and the Boys and Girls Club, I know a little kid in Gregoire today. He's not a little kid anymore. He's Ackerman. I mean, that building's been a stable community, safe for a lot of people. And Mr. Cooper, you've given your time, maybe not as much as I guess a full-time volunteer, but you certainly, I know since the fire, and I didn't know you that well before that, but I know Peter and Vera always talk to all of you. And to see you here tonight, I know you're rich, so you're not here for dollars. You're here again to support the youth in our community, and just thanks for doing what you do. Certainly support this motion.
Thank you, Councilor McGrath. Councilor Grandison?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, through the chair. Again, like my colleague had indicated, I wanted to take a moment to thank you for your efforts. And I have a bit of a history. I grew up using the Boys and Girls Club when I was on the streets as a young person without a home. But I always had a place at the Boys and Girls Club. So its value in this community and all communities where their presence exists is there. I can appreciate the fact that you maximize the value out of the space you have. I believe not that long ago, St. John's was in that building for a number of years, which also provides a tremendous service to our community. Few Social, which is another not-for-profit organization that provides a tremendous service for our community. I've certainly been there a number of times. Appreciate the work you do, appreciate the value, and it's interesting because we look at this as a dollar. Well, we got the land for $1. So it's not like the municipality is losing a value. We're gaining an entity and we're gaining a service within the community. So again, I just wanted to thank you all and wish you Happy New Year and continued success with all of your efforts.
Thank you, Councilor Grandison. Do you have any other questions from council? I'm not seeing any, so again, I'll thank you for everything you do, and I always enjoy visiting the kids down there, so I'll definitely drop by again. They always have the best questions. So thank you very much. Are there any other questions or debate points from council? No. Can I have someone make the motion? Councillor Ball?
I move that the municipality dispose of Lot 5, Block 11, Plan 0227161 for a nominal fee in accordance with the land sale terms and conditions as identified on Attachment 1 and as amended December 12th, 2022 and January 10th, 2023.
Someone second that motion? Councillor Binjoko?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I second that motion.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or debate points from council? Not seeing any. I'll call for a vote. All in favor? And that's carried unanimously. Thank you. Moving on to item 6.1, invite Councilor Bajoko to speak to her motion. Following that, we'll hear from delegates and the questions of council followed by debate. Councilor Bajoko, you can go ahead. There you go.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I will be speaking to defer the motion for sometimes February or March of 2023 to enable us to get all the findings and points together. So I would like to defer it, and when I'm ready, I would let administration know. If my council colleagues agree with me.
Do you have a date, Councilor Bajoko, when you'd like it deferred?
The last meeting in March, latest by then.
And this is my own interest. Is there a reason why it had deferred already and you want to defer it again?
I wasn't even prepared for it for January. But some of the delegates that need to come forward are not available today. Apologies to Ms. Somina and Mr. Atta Mahmood. They're not available at the moment, and there's another council colleague who is supposed to speak on this, and he's not in the country right now. And that's Councillor Duga.
Does any councillor have any objection to deferring this until late March? Okay, I'm not seeing anybody, so deferred to the last meeting in March is what date?
March 5th?
Last meeting in March.
So that would be March the 28th.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
So thank you, Councillor Bajoko. So that's it for today's meeting. Thank you all for attending. Marcy Cho, Kim Muscumpton, and thanks everyone. Does